Alright, you might hear some chanting in the back, some singing. It's Holy Week here, and all the churches are singing and chanting for the next week, 24 hours a day. So today, I want to talk about getting a windfall. What I would do with a windfall. What I did with a windfall. The older you get, the more chances are you're gonna come across a windfall, and whether that's somebody in your family dies and you're benefiting financially from that, or you're getting stuff willed to you from that, or you're selling a house that you've lived in for 100 years and you're cashing in the capital gains on that, or maybe you hit the lottery or whatever, or maybe it's time for your 401k to come due. You're 59 and a half and you can start tapping that 401k money. So what would I do with that? Well, that's happened to me, actually. I had a biological father I never knew, and he kicked the bucket, and he didn't have a will, but the estate lawyer found me, and I had a little bit of a windfall from that. The good thing was I didn't have any bills for it to go to, and I had plenty of money at that time, so I wasn't thinking about what I was going to do with the money to benefit me, other than what investment that I was going to put that money in the stock market. So I put it into various stocks and funds, and so that worked out really cool. It was awesome. But if you were to come across some of this money, here's what I would do now. If I came across some money now, what I would do with it. Like, I've got a house back home I could sell, and what would I do with that money? Well, right now, as I told you before, I'm living on the high yield dividend income ETF QQQI, and it pays monthly. It pays about around the 25th of the month, which is nice. So you have money in your pocket on the first, which is always good. I had JEPQ before, and it paid a little bit less, but it paid on like the 5th, and I didn't like that. The 5th, that didn't work for. That was more cumbersome. I want that money on the first. So I got rid of that, and I switched it over to QQQI. But what I would do if I came into some money, and I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be a windfall, but it could be. So it's fun to do the math on it. If it's 100,000 and I put it all into QQQI, then that's $1,000 a month. If it's $1 million and I put it all into QQQI, which I'm not saying that you do, but that's $10,000 a month. So then you're starting to look at, okay, now this really can change your living situation. And if you're close to retirement, maybe one of these high income ETFs could work for you. And maybe you can retire earlier than what you thought if you were looking at just retiring on some other means. Like other dividend stocks, they're paying something less than 10%. Or 12% or whatever. So, it takes more money to have that type of income. So these high income ETFs have kind of changed the game on how well you can live in retirement and take a monthly check. Because the market is going to take dips and do other stuff, and it doesn't feel good to me to sell investments every month to live. Like, say you have S&P 500 and you sell it every month to live. I don't like selling it. I'd rather hold on to it and it pay me a dividend. That's the way the best investors do business. Like these universities with unlimited funds, they don't operate the university on the funds that they're gifted. They operate on the university on the funds that they're gifted, and then the interest from that gift. They never spend the principal. They never spend the original amount, unless it's specific for like a building or whatever. If it's specifically for that, then that's different. But their general funds for all these universities that have unlimited amounts of money, they never spend the principal. That's why they have unlimited amounts of money. They operate on the interest. So that's in my mind. That's a smart way of doing business. Um, so I don't like real estate or other things, and the reason is everybody's got a handout. You know, you got to pay the mortgage broker, you got to pay the real estate agent, you got to pay interest if you're getting a loan to the bank, you got to pay insurances, and you got to pay the transaction fees and all these other fees every time you buy and sell real estate. And then you got to pay a management company to manage it. If you're going to be off and on the run like I am, I'm not going to be able to manage a rental back home. So, you know, that gets real complicated real fast. Whereas if I were to come into $100,000 or $1,000,000 and I throw it in the stock market, that's simple. It's a one-time transaction and it's one and done. And guess what? If I croak tomorrow and I have a will and it goes to my wife, it's simple for me to have a document written up for her on how to get into my account and what to do. Real estate that's back home in the U.S., like, what's my Filipino wife gonna do with that? She's been to the U.S., but she doesn't know how real estate works. She's just gonna get boned. So if I croak tomorrow and I've got a will that says she gets, my investment account, no problem. She's already a beneficiary on it, so I don't even think I need a will. But no problem. Then she can just get in there and sort it out and do nothing. She can keep it in QQQI for all I care, and then it pays her monthly. So she can keep setting it and forgetting it, and the principal never going to get touched. Or if it gets touched, it's touched by her son at some point down in the future. So these are all stuff to think about. Right now, if I got a windfall, I would throw it into QQQI and I would improve my monthly income, and it would, give me a little bit more money to spend or save. Or maybe I'd put it in the S&P 500 or one of those type funds. But I like planning for the future instead of buying a new car or buying a new house or buying stuff. Like, I'd rather have that money and then get a monthly income and then do stuff with it. If you're already financially stable, if you add to your monthly income, then that's good. Then you can take another trip a year, or another trip a month, or another whatever. You can get some experiences in, have some fun, do some stuff, rather than trying to keep up with the Joneses, buying the next thing or the next whatever. So that's my opinion. And just think also about what happens, when you croak. How is if you were to have a windfall of a house back in the U.S., what's your Filipino going to do with that? She's going to get screwed. It's going to be a problem. So liquidate that damn thing. Do it when you can still make the decisions. Liquidate that sucker, and then put that in the market. Put that money in the market. I did that. My bio dad had a house, a dude I never knew, and it was a total piece of garbage. It was built in 1890, and so it's been patched and repatched, and it's hanging on by a thread. And I told the real estate agent, and it was full of garbage. I was like, hey, clean it up, fix whatever issues, throw a coat of paint, or fix whatever visual issues, throw a coat of paint on, and get it on the market. Sell it to the first fool that comes by. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't see the house. I never went up there to look at that house. Don't care. I was in another country. And it was all handled remotely. That thing got sold, and it was fine. Hey, whoever bought it got a great deal. I got a great deal. That was free money. I didn't care. I didn't need to hold on to it to get every last penny out of that thing. And the guy that showed up, he showed up with cash, didn't need to do a home inspection. He threw money at me, and that's the best deal to make because it's a house from 1890. If somebody looks twice at the foundation, it's going to need 15 grand worth of foundation work or this or that. They're going to look at the roof. It's going to need a new roof, all this other crap. That's a can of worms. I told the real estate agent, I was like, look, don't open up any walls. Don't do nothing. Clean it. Slap a little bit of lipstick on that thing. Fix whatever. There was a couple holes in the wall. Fix a couple of holes in the wall. Put it on the market and sell that bitch quick. And that's exactly what happened. Maybe I could have got a little bit more if I was waiting for another buyer, but now they got a mortgage, now they got to have inspections, and now there's going to be a bunch of drama. So, can your Filipina do that? No. No, she doesn't know about that kind of stuff. She doesn't know what to do. She's going to take whatever advice they give her and she's going to get boned. So, just keep that in mind. If you get a windfall, that's what I would do with it. I would throw it in the market because, and another thing is, if I need to touch any of my money, I can touch it in a week. You throw it in real estate, good luck. Good luck. Oh, well, the market's down? Oh, good luck. Good luck trying to sell it. Never mind getting a good price for it. Well, if the market's down, okay, I'd take it on the chin if I need to sell something, but at least I can sell it. If the market's down in housing, you can't sell it. You're holding on to it for a year or whatever it takes to sell that thing. You know, keep that in mind. I like real estate for the fact that you make money with rental income and then you can make money with capital gains at the end. But to me, I'd rather have the liquid. I'd rather have the flexibility. I'd rather be able to touch my money within a week. So keep that in mind. Make sure you got beneficiaries for your accounts. And I like Charles Schwab because my investment account is the same, under the same umbrella as my checking account. So it's real easy to move money back and forth. When my dividend comes in, I can move it to my checking account instantly and use the ATM and get cash out and do what I need to do. So that works out well for me. Whereas if I had, like, if it was in a Fidelity or a Charles Schwab or whatever other Vanguard, then I got to do a transfer to whatever checking account I got, and that takes extra time and all that kind of stuff. So it's just something to think about, convenience-wise. Your investing house can be your checking account house also, if they have that functionality, and that makes it easier. So it doesn't have to be Charles Schwab, it could be anybody, but it's nice if they're all under one umbrella. And for me, I like Schwab again because I don't have to have any human interaction if I want to make any size transfer of funds from my investment account to a bank in the Philippines. I just do an online wire transfer and the funds are there within a week. I pay $15, done. And you can do transfers with Wise, PayPal, and other services. I like using my bank. I don't have to have another login. I don't have to mess with an outside service. I just transfer that over and it's done. So there you go. Windfalls. Think about it. Have a plan for it. Think about what you might do. You got to pay off that debt first. Unless your debt is super cheap, like a house debt is super cheap. But even if it is super cheap, you could think about that too. Because now if you got a mortgage, you got to have homeowners insurance to the level that they want you to have. If you own your house, you can self-insure if you want. You can have no homeowners insurance. Or you could just have flood insurance. Or you could just have earthquake insurance, and that's it. So you got a lot more options if it's your house and you're self-insuring. And that could save you monthly. So, no, maybe you don't want to do that, but maybe you do. Maybe you've lived your whole life and never used homeowners insurance like me. I've wasted I don't know how many thousands of dollars on homeowners insurance, and I never used it. Never used that shit. So what if I didn't have homeowners insurance this whole time? Maybe I would have been better off, but I had a mortgage, so I didn't have that flexibility. Well, once your home is paid off, once your investment property is paid off, now you got an option. You can self-insure if you've got the financial backing to walk away from that bitch if it burns down. Maybe you can do that. Keep that in mind. All right. That's a windfall for me. See you around. Like, comment, subscribe.